Connecting with Pets, a Forever Vets podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our 6th episode of Connecting with Pets. So today we have brought back Samantha and Nicole to talk about Fear Free Part 2. Thank you all so much for being on.
Hey! Thank you for having us.
Glad to be back. Awesome. So Samantha, I know we talked about T'Challa last time and the fear-free techniques that y'all had been working with him on, and I know you had an awesome follow-up to that, and I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with T'Challa's dad at his last appointment, just kind of really bragging on him, and, you know, of course, the fact that we talked about him in the last one, but also just the progress that he's really made and the difference that dad has made in his vet care and his growth and his comfortability with us. We have introduced 2 new technicians to T'Challa. Both appointments have gone really well, not without certain obstacles, but, you know, that communication between dad and the technician and the doctor and myself being so involved in his healthcare, it really has made for so much progress. So I just wanted to give him 2 thumbs up for that, for making so much growth. Just in Fear Free.
It's so important to tell the clients how proud of them we are too.
It keeps it going.
Yeah.
It really does. Speaking of T'Challa, I want to know how Waffles is.
Oh, Waffles. So Waffles got a sibling. They actually found him through, I think it was the same rescue if I'm not mistaken. So carbon copy. We have Espresso now. He's a young puppy. We just neutered him, and he has the same kind of fears that Waffles has when it comes to getting his nails done. So just like they did with Waffles, they kind of discussed what can we do fear-free wise. Where's Nicole? So I had 2 nail grind appointments with Espresso. The first one did not go as planned. It really didn't go as planned at all. I had a technician kind of with me because we're trying to build on the skills at Beach too. So training our technicians to do more fear-free stuff, not just me. And they do know, but there's certain things like for example, these nail grinds. How can we do them slower? It's hard when the technicians are having to take rooms and they have an obligation to time. Mm-hmm. So in the downtime, I'm trying to find ways to get them implemented with that stuff. So the first one didn't go great, so I talked to the owner. I said, hey, let's come back a different day. I only got 1 nail done. We're going to do a different approach this time. And so I made sure she kept him light on his food before he came in, so he's a little more food motivated. Mm-hmm. And we were actually able to knock it out. We got all the toes done. Fast forward to him coming in to be neutered, she asked again, hey, can we get those nails done again? And he was boarding with us, so it just takes time, right? But the 3rd nail grind that we did was super phenomenal. It was just me and him, able to sit down in the middle of treatment, honestly, with just him in my lap, just grinding his nails.
That's 3 visits?
3 visits with I forget the exact age of him, but a young puppy.
Okay.
3 visits. It's about energy, right, Samantha?
It really is.
It really is about energy.
It really is, and I don't know, just getting on their level. I think a big thing in Fear Free is literally getting on their level.
On the floor.
Getting down on the floor. Oh, help my back. But yes, just really getting one-on-one with those animals and realizing what they're really going through in those moments and leveling with them. Obviously, they don't understand everything we're saying or everything we're doing or why we're doing it. Mm-hmm. But there is a way to make them understand that we're not trying to hurt you.
Yeah, not threatening.
And as beautiful as all of our babies are, they think we are trying to hurt them during these procedures and these quick things like nail trims that are so necessary for their comfort and their future, because you don't want their toes to be crooked while they walk. It's good to keep those up off the floor while they're walking and allow that free range for the toes to move naturally. That's really important to maintain, and them being so fearful of these nail trims it's natural, totally natural
for
normal
them. Yeah.
Yes. But as far as what we can do, there's so many things. At home, this is a crazy one that I actually just learned. You take a pencil and the nail trimmers, and you trim the pencil with the nail trimmers to desensitize them from the noise, and you offer them treats in between if they react, as they decrease their reaction.
Yep.
You just keep doing it, and that's scary for them, that noise. Their ears are sensitive.
Yes,
and
way more sensitive than we even.
Yes, and their toes.
Yep.
And we're messing with two things that are really sensitive, their ears and their toes. They're hearing this noise, they're already scared, and we're squeezing their toes. It's scary. So desensitizing is a huge part of Fear Free.
And like with that, something that, because even though we work in the field, our significant others may not know all the tricks of the trade. Yeah. So I was just having a conversation with my significant other the other day about how our pets, they don't speak English, right? They don't understand us, so they don't really know what the expectation is. And the only way that they truly know what to expect is by repetition. So I don't know if you guys have seen that viral video with that bulldog that's excited to go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
The owner just says the words, "Are you ready to go to Dunkin' Donuts?" And he goes bananas about it, right? A question my significant other had about that was like, he obviously knows where they're going. And I said, well, that was learned behavior, right? So just like with Fear Free, we're teaching them how to be comfortable in a situation that they were uncomfortable with. So you can't expect an animal or even people to know what you want from them without guiding them into that. We don't speak the same language as our pets, so we have to find a way to get that communication across in a non-threatening way, right? Yeah. And kind of guide them into, like, if you're working on crate training, you're making the crate not a scary thing, but you're also, you're following through steps. It's a constant repetitive thing, rather. So I think that's just the vital thing about Fear Free too, and like I'm tripping on the
desensitization and normalization.
Yes, exactly. We have to show them what we expect.
Exactly, and these are things that are normal for you and I. We hear noises all day. We see things all day. And even if we've never heard it before or seen it before, it still can be considered normal to us, or at least acceptable. But for a cat or a dog, it may not be acceptable.
They have never heard a husky screaming in the back because it wants to go back to its owner, which is why we're so cautious about cats when we have them in the back, right? Dr. Levinsky is very cat advocate. Yes. Hey, I have a cat on the table. Can you please take your large dog and bring them to the other side of the table? Because the main thing is making them comfortable and taking away those big scary sounds or the movement and all of that is important.
I have walked through treatment with a towel covering the dog, so the cat that we were helping on the table, it didn't see the dog, and that's how far we'll go. Nothing is here. You see nothing, and then the dog leaves, and everything is fine.
And that's your job. That's our job. Is to make things like that happen.
Yes, I'm protecting their feelings.
We're protecting them on all levels. I know that we talked a little bit earlier outside of this about ways that we implement Fear Free at home with our own pets, right? Because it is at work, but we take that home with us too in most cases.
Yeah.
What kind of ways have you worked with your
your
furry friends? Because I know you have a couple.
Pack of dogs.
Thank you.
Can say it.
That's a good pack.
It's a 6-pack, you guys. It's a 6-pack. I've worked in the field for 8 years, so I have, I've adopted several animals. One belongs to my one son, and the other one belongs to my other son. My husband has a dog, and I do have 3 of my very own, so it does add up to 6. But all of them did come into my life at different times over those 8 years, and I have had to work with some of them being older than the others when they came in. Rosie specifically was only about 6 weeks old when we adopted her.
She didn't even know what the world was yet.
Didn't. Her head was as big as her body.
It really was.
But she, we went through training together, three 6-week courses of training. I implemented as much as I could, but even with all of that, even with coming to the clinic and me touching her paws, playing with her ears, and just all around trying to help her be a well-rounded patient.
Yep.
It didn't work, guys. It didn't work.
Sometimes it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. I have to pre-medicate her. She does have to have pre-vet visit pharmaceuticals.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Trazodone is the one that her doctor chose for her. There are different medications. Please talk to your veterinarian about the options that are available for you and your pet.
Because there are many.
There are many, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that conversation and seeking that support. We did try other things, and we continue to do this one's a hard one today.
It's tripping us up.
Desensitization. We do all kinds of different things, but at the end of the day, she is who she is, and she does have more sensitive skin. So she is more sensitive to the touching of her ears, the touching of her paws, and things like that. She's also just rowdy. So nail trims are... She thinks we're trying to play. She doesn't understand, and she can heel. She knows center. She... when I'm sitting, she'll go under my legs. Oh, wow. I mean, she does know commands, and she works very well with me. But even with me or without me at vet visits, I have to take certain precautions, and this is where it comes in. I give her so much cheese. Guys.
Cheese tax.
Cheese.
Gotta pay it.
I put it on the cabinet, and I just let her lick the cheese off the cabinet. I don't like those videos that we see of where people are putting saran wrap on their heads.
Not safe.
Please don't do that. That is not safe. No matter how much you trust your baby and how much your baby loves you, in those moments of high stress and reaction, they may choose to react at the peanut butter on your head. So please do not do that. That is not advisable. But the counter and, taking those steps, your dog, I know that Rosie is not reactive at all. I don't know. She's literally the nicest dog I've ever met.
She hung pretty well with Tally. So
yes.
I would say she's pretty tolerant.
She's zero reactive.
Yeah.
So I know that I don't need to muzzle her for these things. But I do have a dog where it took time. Zohan is my 7-year-old Pitty. He's at the point now where I can give him a treat, I can clip a nail. I can give him a treat, I can clip a nail. And sometimes he'll roll on his back and let me clip his nails that way. He is phenomenal, and I have even found that crawling into his kennel with him, which is also not usually safe.
No, that's their space.
But this is my dog. So I've noticed that crawling into the kennel with him and doing nail grinds has been really successful, and still offering those treats as we go regularly. So finding the thing that works for your dog, where do they feel safe? Because he's better than ever when I do nail grinds in the kennel now, which...
That's not a typical thing.
No,
right?
3-4 years ago, he's never gone to bite me, but he was reacting to the nail trims, and you could tell he was not comfortable, and I was pushing a very thin line. So just, really learning your animal and what works for them while keeping everybody safe, but always offer snacks. I think that's...
Or whatever is going to motivate them, because it might not be treats, some dogs.
Personally, I've never had a dog that wasn't motivated by treats.
You've not met Tally.
That first-hand experience for me is not really there. I know, it's always been treats or toys.
Yeah.
Toys not as commonly. They can't... I've not seen it myself where they keep the constant attention of the pet. But
especially in those
cats,
times.
But then they're sporadic and all over the place with toys. So
that's very true. That instinct takes over, and now they're down the hallway chasing after that ball that you tried to get them to play with.
Exactly. So what techniques do you have with yours?
So like I was saying with Tally, she's not treat motivated. And she's also, each dog is an individual, right? And each dog needs to be assessed in a different way. So what I found with her is she does best more hands off. From an early age, just like Rosie, I was able to grind her nails. I was cleaning her ears. She has no hair, so she requires a lot more maintenance and upkeep. So a lot more physical touch on her part, more moisturizing and baths and all that stuff. And she did great as a puppy, but as we hit about a year, the nail grinds became harder and harder. I would be just like what I do with, I think it's my signature. I might trademark it, just having the dogs in my lap and grinding their nails.
I have walked in on you in the clinic before doing that, and I was like, that is such a good idea.
I don't know, it just seems to work. So that's what I would do with her. And then, you know, as she kind of aged, it turned into more of a fight, where now it was like, oh, I now have to restrain my own dog kind of in almost a headlock position just to keep her still, and I really didn't want to do that, right? So we kind of reassessed how we do things, and we'd use pharmaceutical intervention too. So I have her, if I'm planning to do like a nail grind, we absolutely pre-medicate with trazodone because she's more comfortable. Yeah. But other things, the nails, she can be a little kooky about, but like temperature, you know, standing for the doctor, she's great if it's just one person, right? Okay. So I can get her temperature rectally with no hands. I don't know what it is, if we're just, again, like the energy thing. I'm not like, stand still so I can get, it's just, here, this is what we're doing, and there's really no if, ands, or, no, don't ask questions, right? This is how we're going to handle it. But it's that calm assertiveness that kind of pieces it together for them. If you're frantic trying to hold them still, then they're going to be frantic, wondering what the heck is going on. So that's kind of how I've done it with Tally. I think most of Forever Vets knows who Jimmy is, and he's just the most perfect boy. So he was born that way. We're really grateful for him. But that's kind of how I implement it at home. And, you know, there's always a million different ways you can implement it, not just at home, not just at the vet hospital, but in the world. I think everybody could benefit from fear-free practices. Yeah.
Sam, I know you were talking about a unusual technique that you had at your clinic, I thought it was the cutest thing, and I wanted you to share a little bit more about that.
So I do have two children. They are 13 and 11 now, so they're a little older, but when they were younger, my husband and I used to sing to them the Soft Kitty song from The Big Bang Theory, which was the song that would you know, calm Sheldon down or make him feel better when he didn't feel good. And we would sing it on a loop every night for years, and we would almost compete. We'd come on and be like, I sang it 64 times tonight. Where's That's my comfort. Gold star? So, you know, years later, I'm working. This was about 4 years ago, and I just randomly sang it to a patient in a very horrible voice. Tone was way off. I was very bad at it, but it caught the attention and calmed that patient. And then I just did it again, and I did it again. And here we are years later. Doctors will actually request that I come over and sing Soft Kitty now.
Can attest to this. This is true facts.
Again, it's not good. It's not something that should ever be released really to the public. I'm sure that clients have to hear it sometimes because I'll get loud.
Yeah, I mean, it's a form of distraction.
It is. It's keeping their attention. I might dance sometimes while I do it, but it's Soft Kitty. And I've tried other songs I have to see if maybe it's just me singing off. No, it's Soft Kitty. There's something in that song that brings them that peace.
The same way it did for Sheldon.
The same way in my children. It's a beautiful thing. So that is my signature fear-free move is singing Soft Kitty.
No, that's awesome. That's too funny. You saying the singing and dancing part reminds me of like there was a TikTok that went around, and it was like when you're trying to distract the pet, and they're breaking it down, they're dancing, they're having fun, trying to make it a pleasant experience.
Sometimes
for the pet,
the distraction is key. So if you see your vet tech doing, you know, some crazy dance, throwing their hands in the air through the window in the back, it's for a reason. It's part of our job. Sometimes it's a matter of like offering for the patient to smell things. Yes. There will be dogs that are, you know, they're receiving their vaccines, or they're just getting their exam and they're a little stressed out. So I'll just start grabbing things and offering for them to smell it. Be like, what's that smell like? And what's this smell like? Does that smell good? And I'm just constantly, you know, in their face, but they're interested in what I'm doing. They're like, oh, that smells great. This is great. What's that? Show me another thing. And they want more, and I'll stop, and they'll be like, what are you doing? You were showing me stuff. So
that's how far fear-free can go.
There's so many facets to fear-free, and honestly, yeah, because if you dig deeper into like our daily appointments, there are many things that even hospitals out there that think you may not practice fear-free, you probably do on some level.
Yes.
Right?
I
if
do
you're
think...
dancing to distract those patients, you're practicing fear-free. And we're here for it.
Yes, we are here for it, all the fear-free ways. And I'd love to know how, if other practices have other ways that they do it. I'd love to know those ways. I'd love to learn more about fear-free from other areas, other hospitals. It's a beautiful thing, and I think it's leading us in such a good direction in veterinary medicine. And again, it's very tailored to that patient.
Yep.
It's tailored to the abilities of that client, of that clinic. But at the end of the day, I think that it's taking over veterinary medicine because, like you said, we are not the only clinic to do it.
Yep.
Forever Vets is not. It's not. We didn't start fear-free. Fear-free is a thing all its own.
Yep.
I'm just happy and blessed to work for Forever Vets where we have that support to provide that to our clients and our patients. I wanted to say thank you for having us again. It's been great. I also wanted to give a shout out to my Bartram Market team. More of my team members got fear-free certified recently, and I am so proud of them for how serious they take it and how I see them grow and implement it every day. It's a beautiful thing, and I love to see them taking that journey. So thank you guys for that. And
that's awesome.
Go Bartram.
One question for our potential listeners out there: if they want to become fear-free certified, or if they want to explore more options into that, what do you recommend?
Definitely visit fearfreepets.com. They do offer, if you work at a vet clinic, they offer that first year free certification. After that, I think annually it's only roughly $100. Please don't quote me. I don't have anything to do with that. But I think that's the price. And whether or not you recertify, really, you practice it every single day. Once you start that journey, you see how good it is. You're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep growing it. I got certified years ago, and I've done nothing but grow with it. So I definitely encourage all technicians, boarding facilities as well, groomers, anyone who handles animals has that opportunity to get that first year free certification. And you just kind of go from there. But if you are a client that is looking for more information, it is fearfreehomes.com. You can go to Google and you can type in fear-free home, and that's how you will find that one. That's the one I know for sure. But Fear-Free Pets is a veterinary website for, veterinarians, technicians, and other providers as well.
Yeah, I just actually renewed mine as well, because from getting certified. Thank you, for so long. So we're going to be doing that with Beach too. I've just got to get which team members are wanting to participate in it, because we do boarding. So we want to make sure that we're doing that too. Okay, so if there are any hospitals out there or vet techs or anybody who works with animals in general that do practice the fear-free way, I would love to know, I think all of us would love to know, what are some of your favorite techniques, because there are so many different ones out there. If you comment, we're going to read through them because we want to know, and we want to see if maybe that's something we can implement in our clinic as well, because knowledge is power, and we want to make sure everybody's got the knowledge.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much again, Samantha and Nicole, for coming on and discussing this, because I know, like we've said before, this is such a huge passion of y'all's and of Forever Vets. So thank y'all again so much. And if anybody wants to listen to our first episode on Fear Free, it was actually our first episode of the podcast. So you just go back to the very beginning and can listen there. And we will hopefully be having a Fear Free Part 3 come 2025.
I'm excited.
Yay. Thank y'all so much.
Thanks everyone for listening. We are Forever Vets, locally owned and operated in Jacksonville, Florida. Visit us at forevervets.com to find out more about our community events, monthly promotions, and more specifics on animal care. Don't forget to catch our episode next week.